So in at number 20 we have Brentford. Unfortunately, I think that the lack of goals that they're going to produce this season is going to be a huge factor. From the last 15 games of last season, they only managed 3 wins. Sheffield United, Luton and Bournemouth. Bournemouth are already safe at this point, and wins against Luton and Sheffield United were good, but it's teams that have gone down. So I do think Brentford will struggle this season, and I think their time in the Premier League will come to an end. Coming in at 19, we have Southampton. I do think they will struggle. They haven't got much Premier League experience when it comes to the players. I don't doubt Russell Martin as a coach. I think he's a really good coach, but I think the Premier League will be a bit too much for them. And if they get a run of games where they're playing teams at the top and they get 4 or 5 defeats, we saw it last season. They kind of crumbled a bit and picked up near the end, but they're not going to get that chance in the Premier League. So it's going to be relegation for them, I think. In 18 for us is Nottingham Forest. Their large squad scares me. Trying to keep players happy is always a tough task for any club, and I think they're going to slowly start to see the repercussions of their signings. Scoring goals, they may get some goals with Wood and Iwanyi, but I think overall they could struggle. Last season they kind of hit a bit of good luck with the likes of Luton, Burnley, Sheffield United coming up and going straight back down. I think the quality wasn't there, and they caught themselves lucky. So I think they will struggle this season because the 3 coming up are better than the 3 we had. So relegation for Forest. In at 17, and our first team to be safe this season, I think will be Ipswich Town. I think they have some good quality players. They may not have Premier League experience, but we saw last season they did really, really well off the back of a League One promotion. To get back to that promotion is quality. I think they're going to have enough just to survive. I think they may start the season quite quickly, picking up points and kind of filter off near the end, but I think they're going to get enough points on the board and then kind of get used to life in the Premier League, and I think next season will be a good one for Ipswich. In 16th position, we predict Bournemouth. This wasn't really what we wanted, but after their good performance last season, I think they may struggle when it comes to conceding goals. They do concede quite frequently, but do manage to score goals as well. I think if they can tighten up at the back and maybe scrape the 1-0s, things like that, they could do a lot better. But I think they may drop off a little bit. I think last season was a bit of a punch above their weight, but I hope they do. I hope they do much better than 16th, but that's where they are. In 15th we have Leicester. Steve Cooper's now taken charge of them. Last season they did really, really well. Obviously Maresca did really well to get Leicester to where they were. They were flying high in the Championship and well-deserved winners in the end. I do think they will do okay in the Premier League. There are teams a lot worse than them. I do think they'll struggle at times, but I think they'll have enough in the bank to secure their fate with a few weeks of the season to go. So that's Leicester up into 15th. Up to 14th now, we have Everton. They did really well to get out of the mess they were in. Sean Dyche does a really, really good job, but Onana leaving to Villa will be a huge factor for Everton, but I do think they have enough to go and secure their fate quite comfortably. So up until 14th for them. But like I say, the Onana sale to Villa is huge for them. Let's hope they can either find a replacement or get someone in that can do that role that he did pretty well last season. So Everton into 14th. Up to 13th now, unlucky for some. I think Wolves could occupy this spot. With what Gary O'Neill did last season was quite incredible, but then did peter off at the end. It's almost like you get that on the beach vibe. They do play some good stuff. They do have some really, really good players. I just think mid-table, just below mid-table is probably where they'd be suited to with a lot of the teams coming up. I'm about to say so. Wolves up into 13th, up into 12th now, and we have Fulham. They're a bit of an oddball. Fulham. They have their big scouts when they beat Arsenal last season, Man United, etc. And then they're going to lose to teams at the bottom and have a bit of an off day. So it depends what Fulham turn up, but I do think they have enough to be around where they were last season, up into that 12th spot. And I think if they can get a couple more signs through, they could potentially push to the mid-table area. So Fulham up into 12th, into 11th now, and I think we're going to have Brighton. I think they will maintain their 11th spot. The big factor of, well, this might be way off is due to the fact that they have a very young manager, new to the league. It kind of depends what style they want to play in, but Potter and De Zerbi had them playing really well. De Zerbi last season kind of get off the ball a bit. I think the change was needed. Obviously forced upon with Brighton, but I think having a young coach in, if he's given time, might do wonders for them. But this season, I think they will finish 11th. Up to the mid stage now in 10th position. I think this will be West Ham. I think they're on a slow decline now. I think due to their European success 2 years ago, the expectation for the fans is a bit too high. Obviously, losing Declan Rice last season when they didn't help. Their players are definitely good enough to be pushing for your Conference League type thing, but I think they'll slowly drop off now, and they need to be careful. But West Ham into 10th. On to 9th position now, and a team that do excite me is Crystal Palace. Obviously, we've already lost Elise to Bayern Munich. I'm sure Eze will be out the door this summer as well, but they do have some good quality players, and I think with the way the manager sets them up as well, it's quite exciting. Definitely different to how Hodgson used to play, but it's good to see Palace on the up, and I do believe that they will finish in the top half, so I have them 9th. Up to 8th now, we have Newcastle United. I would have had them a bit higher, with them not having any European distractions this season. However, I do think they have problems off the field. Amanda Staveley's gone. They need to sort out their finances, I think, because they can't just go out and buy who they want to buy. It depends if they keep their players, I guess. Bruno's still there, but will he still be there come the first day of the season? So I think the next 7 teams are a lot better than them. So I think 8th is a viable position. Up to 7th now, we have Tottenham. I do see a lot of people pushing them higher into like top 4 and things. I do think their style of football is entertaining. We had a lot of good games last season, but when it comes to results, I think it can be a bit dangerous. playing the way they did, especially in that game against Chelsea. That was bizarre. Very good for the viewer, but not good for the outcome in the end. So I'm a huge fan of Postecoglou, but I do think Spurs will struggle again, and I think 7th is the highest they can aim for. Up to 6 now, and it's going to be Man United for me. A lot of people are saying that they can steady the ship and move forward, but I think it's still a rebuild for them. The teams ahead of them are way ahead of them, in my opinion. So I think 6th is probably the height, but it's Man United, so they could easily go and get top 4, but in their current position, I think top 6 is probably their maximum. Into the top 5 now. In position is Aston Villa. They did really well last season. I think they're going to have a really good season again, but I do think the likes of Chelsea will improve, forcing them to drop down. But the signing of Onana is quite exciting for Villa, which can help them push forward in more attacking moves. So Aston Villa could break the top 4 again, but I think the top 4 is a step too far this season. Into the top 4 we go. I have Chelsea in 4th. I think they are getting much better. The likes of Cole Palmer shows what he can do. I think he'll replicate that again this season. Players around him will improve as well. I do think Chelsea are a force to be reckoned with. Maybe not this season. I think if we do the same thing next season with the predictions, I can probably see them possibly pushing for the title. But again, this season I think it's going to be a struggle for them, but a lot easier. So 4th for Chelsea. Into 3rd now, I have Liverpool. I think Arne Slot hasn't got the experience of the Premier League, but his squad have. Depending if they keep their players, I think they could replicate what they did last season. I think it could easily be a 3-horse race again with Man City and Arsenal. But I do think they need to tighten up at the back big time and sort out their goal scoring. So it's Liverpool in the top 3. Into 2nd now, and it's going to be Arsenal again, I'm afraid. I think back-to-back leagues where they haven't won it, that might take its toll on them again. I do think City will go and win it again. I can't see anyone toppling them, but I think they're going to do it in a more emphatic style. So Arsenal will still get 2nd, but I do think the points tally will be a bigger gap than there was last season. I think that scare has kind of pushed Man City forward again. But I hope Arsenal can push them all the way and possibly win it. So that leaves Man City as champions. I do think they'll do it again. I think the squad they have is too good. Pep's still there. I think they kick on. I think the gap will be a lot bigger. I just think sheer dominance again it's getting a bit tedious. But I hope in the next couple of seasons, Arsenal or Chelsea can push them, but Man City for the win. So this is our full league prediction at this stage. We will revisit this in January to see how we're getting on. But in the meantime, if you want to get your predictions in below, we might think about doing a quick competition to try and win a copy of FC25, depending on the interest. But it'd be good to get everyone's opinion and your thoughts on our predictions. So enjoy the new season, and we'll see you on the other side.